What's going on, Board Wars Nation, and welcome back to another episode of the official Board Wars podcast. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, the incredible third place JD.
Yeah.
JD.
Unfortunately, third place.
Unfortunately, man. Unfortunately. And that obviously is because Game 1, the epic Game 1 we were all waiting for that kicked off Season 4 was last week. And it was a rookie game. Isn't that right, JD?
It was. We were obviously expecting a good game, but I think this game exceeded expectations. This was honestly an amazing game to start off the season, especially from these rookies. Put up a performance. That was an enjoyable game to be a part of, and I'm sure to watch, and even GM.
And one thing I noticed, JD, is when you get into typically lower skilled games, it becomes less of like, who can make the creative move that like nobody comprehended to like infiltrate their defenses, and it becomes more of like a which rookie is going to leave themselves in terrible harm's way first.
Yeah.
And which rookies are going to take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, that 100% makes sense, because we saw that quite a bit this game. I think that's where we saw maybe like the downturn of these teams, because they kind of let themselves vulnerable to attacks maybe. And obviously when you're newer to the game that you haven't seen before, new mechanics that you just didn't even know that were in the game, and it kind of leaves you open to that. But yeah,
absolutely.
I think maybe we could walk through the game and kind of just, if someone didn't watch it, if they weren't part of it, we kind of just walk it down the line and just explain these events that led to Moot Newt, the Ruby Raptors, taking home the first game.
Which, I mean, before we get into this, JD, isn't it just nuts that the Raptors did win this game? I mean, the Raptors now, I think we talked about this when the game ended. The Raptors are now 8-7. Is that what we said? I think they're 8-7.
I think it was 7-8. No,
I think it is 8-7.
It is 8-7 because it was right behind. It was almost the same record
than Dr. Luke.
Their 15-game span is almost on the same level as Dr. Luke playing. That's crazy.
Insanity.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about last season how they were on a roll. They just won the Legacy Cup, and then we talked early in the game, like, well, maybe they get teamed up, maybe they get looked at a little bit more, they change up their play style. Nope, they played it how they usually do, and they took the win like they have been doing.
I'm interested to see how teams respond to this politically, because that is a huge red flag if your team is wanting to win, especially if you are in the Moon Division. Like, man, we've got to get on the Raptors, or none of us are going to have a chance at that 1 seed. I don't know. It's just scary, man. It's scary stuff.
It is.
The Raptors are back, and it would be one thing if Straw won, or Enigma won, or Caden won, or Red won, the classic pack. It's another thing if a second round rookie, I think it was their third pick in that draft?
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was one of the first two.
Takes it home in a way that just none of us expected. So, I mean, there's something in the water over there at Raptor HQ, and
yeah,
I mean, we'll see how that evolves throughout the season. But JD, as you were saying, getting into this game, actually, I think it was Dr. Nate, the rookie who played in this game, that gave us this suggestion. No,
he was. Yes, we were talking to him during the draft, and he was giving us some pie ideas. So this was the idea, kind of breaking down the game, little parts in the game. So I'm excited for this.
Absolutely. As we go over to the other screen, JD, and it seemed like from our calculations, there were really 5 key moments to deciding the outcome of this game. And some of them are like seeing where players got eliminated. Some of it was, I guess you'll just see. See. But now up until this point, I mean, what we're about to show is a massive play that the King of the Monkeys made. One of the 4 rookies in this game. One of actually the second round picks. Is that right? For the
Yes, he was a second round pick.
Which we all didn't think going into this game was going to be very good. And he was attacking one player from the Salamanders, first round pick, very hyped up prospect, DNA Nick. Now, the way this play happened, well, first of all, Nick was kind of already in a dubious political circumstance because, I mean, did he not? Did I interpret this wrong, JD, or did he betray the cuties?
I'm pretty sure that I remember they were going over there, and he asked if I went in the Batcave, you wouldn't bomb me. I think that's what it was, and I think yeah, maybe not bombing him, but attacking him directly. I think that's
Okay.
so.
So it's one of those semantical. Well, I never promised I wouldn't attack you.
I
I did
think
promise
that's
I
what it
wouldn't
was.
bomb you.
It
That's
I
interesting.
and it was definitely a little bit of something Dr. Nate was not expecting. I think Dr. Nate was under the impression. I think the rest of the board was that they were kind of teaming up.
Oh, absolutely. Especially considering the salamanders and the cuties up until this point have been such buddy
Yeah.
buddy. That was shocking to see in Slushy's debut as a captain, kind of tearing down potentially political alliances, which I mean, we'll see how that evolves throughout the year. Maybe it's just like a fluke and it's his first game, but
Yeah.
maybe the
It's
salamanders aren't going to be political anymore. They're just going to.
it's it's possible. And yeah, and if you don't know, basically the Sows and Cuties throughout the couple season had this like maybe an unwritten diplomacy with each other, but we see quite a bit that they have worked together in the past. And usually when they're together, you're usually at the end, it's them two fighting it out. So that's why it was a little bit, what Gus is saying, a little bit of a surprise there. But maybe with Gideon leaving, it was more Gideon and Caleb. So I don't know. We'll see as the season goes on.
Absolutely. We'll see how that continues to evolve. One of the biggest stories in this upcoming year is Slushy as the captain. How is that going to look different from Gideon? Maybe this is one of those ways. Maybe just the old alliance between the season 1 and season 2 champions are just going to be down. But getting into this first play here, JD, the first big moment of the game, King of the Monkeys makes a play here. Now, as you can see, I think you can see my mouse over here, right?
I can.
King of the Monkeys has this mystic elevator right here, and he is stacking actions over here. So he has a tick over here with Loki and the Death Star. I think previously he used this tick to kill Bread, which was kind of a
Yeah.
questionable move, I would kind of say. I mean, that was just kind of interesting. I mean, I think the payback for that was he got bombed accidentally because Loki was invisible over here from a bomb.
Yeah.
But since then, King of the Monkeys has learned from his mistakes in being within bomb range. He's moved it back, and he is ready for a play on the Mystic Elevator. Now, the reason this Mystic Elevator is so strong, as JD and many of you will know at home, is because it is stacked up with, I think, currently 8 minion actions.
It was somewhere around 5 to 8 at this point.
Which is really great. So those minions obviously stem from Gru, and they have their own actions. So for moving something that is action-based like the Mystic Elevator, it is absolutely crucial that he has all of those actions. And so this is kind of the classic trick. Bird Island is right over here. I'm sure King of the Monkeys and Bears HQ sees this. And, rather than me explaining it, JD, would you like to explain what was going on in Bears HQ at this moment?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I know. So the thought process going on right now is, King of the Monkeys, he was planning on taking a more passive type game. When Loki was found in the Death Star, he was actually trying to walk towards Mercy's office. He wasn't trying to take an offensive attack. Once he got blown up by the bomb, though, that quickly switched a gear in his head, and he wanted some blood. So he wanted to switch up his game. So one of the things that we were looking at was obviously the Bird Island. He hadn't had Mystic Elevator. Once he pulled it, it was kind of the perfect recipe. Mystic Elevator, Bird Island with about 10 actions. I think if you've played boards before, you all know where that's going. But he grabs Mystic Elevator, and we're looking to know who's the easy target to get a team wipe. And we notice the Sallies are all in the same column right there, right next to Bird Island. A pretty easy 3-tile swap there.
Absolutely.
And as you can see, if you were watching it, he was getting unlucky with the first couple rolls, but on this roll, he gets an immediate 6, which is 4 swaps. exactly what the Bears needed right here.
Brutal.
And with that, I think he had about like 7 actions with Bird Island. Yep, 6 right there. You got the 6. Is about 7 actions with Bird Island, and the Smoky Sallies are history, basically.
Yeah, I mean that is a classic move if there is one, JD. I mean, and I'm just gonna pause it here. If you're the Salamanders, Bird Island right here is flipped over. I mean, listen, it's game one. It's game one. New captainship that might not see certain things like this. Rookie who is not gonna maybe pick up on some of these things, but with Bird Island right there, just begging to be swapped with Mystic, you just can't leave your guys all in a row like that when you're so close to Bird Island. Especially when there's tile manipulation on the board. I mean, that is just a blunder. That is a classic blunder. I think at the end of this game, Nick, and he probably said this just because he didn't know any better, which he's a rookie. I mean, I think that's entirely fair. But he was like, yeah, there wasn't really a thing I would change in this game. I would disagree. I would disagree, unfortunately, Nick. I love you. I think you're a great guy. But this is a huge blunder here, leaving your guys just begging to be hit with the birds. And you know what? I was joking with some guys about this, some veterans of the game, and they were like, you know what? It's got to happen to everyone once. And then once it happens to you once, it never let it happen again.
It's true. I think it is it's happened to me before. I've been Bird Island like quite a few times.
It is, that tile is an absolute menace, and it has resulted in situations like this, especially with the amount of actions you had. And I mean, man, King of the Monkeys over here using the minions to get all of them. I mean, that was just brutal. Brutal. There was a moment here where Spike Spiegel was attacking back.
Yeah.
But because of the minions, they're immortal and invincible. Most of that ability was deemed irrelevant, which is just so unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker did some business over here too. I think he finished off Spike Spiegel. Spike Spiegel attacked him, but because his Undertaker chip was on himself, he attacked Spike first. It was that crazy interaction that happened, which resulted in his death over here. And when the smoke settled, I think it actually took another turn, which kind of blew my mind. So let's skip over here to kind of some of the aftermath here. But King of the Monkeys, as you can see, retreats from Nick's perspective north after that play. And I was like, okay, that's a tough thing for DNA Nick. You're looking at the scoreboard. You're like, Wonder Woman has 15 health. Wolverine has 48. This is not looking good, but there's still the Batmobile. Now, when you're attacking multiple people, you got to opt into attacking the Batmobile. King of the Monkeys didn't do that. That's still a resource they can use. I was thinking at the time maybe he wanted to take it for himself later, but maybe he just missed that. But then a rotation goes by. It's Nick's turn. And on Nick's turn, not only does he not really do anything, which, I mean, again, partially fair because, he's, got stuff. He's probably like, oh man, my plans were just kind of foiled. He probably might have not been able to think of many things to do. But he leaves his guys within harm's way, which is just something that I didn't expect. Like leaving Wonder Woman at 15 health, try to recover with Wonder Woman, try to get out of there, try to negotiate a peace. Nothing was really done, and just, I mean, these minions just on the birds, continuing to launch them at Wonder Woman, and King of the Monkeys ended DNA Nick, I believe, on this turn.
Yeah, it was the turn after.
Yeah, just brutal stuff there. I think it was from the Death Star, actually, that you killed Wolverine after that. So, JD. Oh. What was that? You or me?
I don't know. I don't know if it was you froze on my end, but I'm not sure if it was me.
I think it was you. But I was saying, I actually think you finished off Wolverine with the Death Star from Loki. Isn't that right?
Yeah. So basically what happened here, maybe a thought process of the reasoning here. I think King of the Monkeys, the thought was actually that the bird we would have enough actions to just fully take them out. Once it didn't, we were contemplating either because we were also kind of maybe expecting a push from Wolverine, especially with his ability where he attacks everyone in tile. So that's why we kind of ran back, especially the Batmobile. That's kind of what we were expecting. When it didn't happen, we kind of had to decide whether to maybe let him live and try to team up with them, or take him out and start the apocalypse. Ultimately, we decided what would best in our favor was with the Mystic Elevator and all those actions and being the side 3, knowing the apocalypses, we would probably have the best odds against the apocalypses compared to these other teams with that many actions, Mystic Elevator with the ability to swap stuff. So we ultimately decided just to take them out and start the apocalypse because the other teams were building up quite a bit, and we were kind of in a spot where we weren't getting items. Our abilities aren't building up other than the minions. So our game plan was really the Bird Island, Mystic Elevator, and the minions. That's kind of what we had going into the apocalypse, and it wasn't really going to change. So we ended up deciding that, you know what, let's just start it early and stop these teams from building up as fast as possible.
And I don't think it's the worst move, JD. I mean, you guys were kind of on top here going into this end game. And I guess we'll see how that continues to go. But I mean, with that being said, DNA Nick was the first person out. And did I predict that DNA Nick would be the winner?
You did.
Dang. Listen. Sally's.
Ooh.
I really I was pulling for you. You know, I thought it was gonna happen, but and you know, even though the Sallies didn't win their first game, I think there's still some opportunities down the stretch here to really grow as a team. It's not easy being a new captain. We've seen this time and time again. I mean, JD, you know this to be true. And it's certainly not easy when you're a new captain and your former captain is gone and you're trying to build this new culture and you're trying to figure things out. So, I mean, even though the Sallies didn't win in their debut, I don't think this was like a must-win game for the Sallies. And we will see how they continue to progress as the season goes along. As we can go to the second big play, JD, that I think really affected things here tonight.
Yeah.
Or what? Friday night when
Yeah.
it happened. When it happened. Sorry, I'm getting into the, you know, the board wars talk.
The feels.
The next big play was over here, JD. And how would you best describe this play to those at home?
Yeah. So this play right here, the apocalypse has just started. You are now able to get into Noah's Ark. And Cuties, not a bad idea, right next to Broland, which they have tile-wide. They're safe from tile-wide damage in a 3x3 radius. They teleport all their guys into Noah's Ark, which is a good play because originally the Bears were like, you know what, we're going to hop in the Ark first and take it over. But since they're side 1, Dr. Nate immediately gets in there. But because the King Monkey still has his Mystic Elevator with a lot of actions, he knows his bomb tower is pretty close to the Ark right there. At the moment, at the start of the turn, though, it was safe because it was in the 3x3 radius of Broland. But because we had so many swaps, we end up swapping Noah's Ark out of Broland's radius and then next to Bomb Tower. And with just enough speed, we're able to run over there. And I believe it was 4 actions, so 100 damage thrown straight into Noah's Ark, taking out 3 of Dr. Nate's 4 cards left, leaving Tanjiro at only 100.
That was just absolutely devastating. And just getting over there with the tile manipulation from all the minions you had built up. I mean, man, what a play to just wipe out most of the Cuties. A play that I don't think, obviously, they weren't expecting. And honestly, the big thing to me, JD, is I feel like in this moment, Dr. Nate actually had, in my opinion, the most leverage on the board. From the perspective of Ghost Rider is very effective against people who've dealt a lot of damage. And to be honest with you, you did a great job because most of your damage had come from minions. So you actually mitigated the use of that. But that's still very good for the end game here, especially for a gritty one. Bucky Barnes is really good for an end game that might require actions like water rolls. having multiple actions,
Mm-hmm.
one of them being perfect, which is really helpful. And Ben 10 being able to scale so high when it hits like turn 10 when he can select Alien X. I mean, I think he can even teleport in that form, JD. He could do
Oh my
something like
gosh.
teleport into the arc, attack your guys. I think he's got 2 actions. He attacks like 15 to the 4th.
Oh, he gets insane once it hits the brown turn
He
10.
really does. He gets broken. So I think Dr. Nate had a lot going from him in this moment. And I think that play to eventually go in, because Broland, one of the monuments you build, allows you to teleport, essentially, because it costs, what, 1 speed or no speed to go into
Yeah, it's 1
a
speed.
space. Like, you can go to any space in that 3x3 to any other space. So that's how he moved into the arc, because he moved like that, using that monument. But imagine if he just held on to that pressure and he did some plays like move in, attack the guys that you put in the arc, move out, and the board manipulation stuff you had was only tied to the Mystic Elevator. So if you got
Mhm.
bottleneck in there first, I don't know, maybe they would have some favorable positions. They could seize some of the tile manipulation opportunities from you. They could go in, attack, go out, do plays like that, be scaling for Alien X, be scaling for Ghost Rider, be healing up with Tanjiro. And I think the fact of the matter is the Cuties jumped the gun by bottlenecking themselves into Noah's Ark, and they just lost some opportunities from that. I think they lost a lot of momentum and leverage.
Yeah. No, I think that's well put. And I think originally right here, one of the big things the Bears were looking at was Tanjiro, I believe, had the reality gem. And that's really helpful in Noah's Ark 'cause you can move around. But the big thing was the Bears were looking at a possibility of with Miskelvir of squeezing Noah's Ark into the corner and keeping it out of reach from everyone. So we were kind of going for the reality gem. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough speed to get the minions into the bomb tower. And then with that reality gem, Dr. Nate was able to escape from a team up, and he was able to get away, which was very smart of him. Because I think he saw with the Sallies that King of the Monkeys was there to finish the job.
Absolutely. King of the Monkeys has shown he will finish the job if he has an opportunity to, which I mean, I think everybody should do. But yeah, he was able to evade death at that moment. And that is our second only big contributor to the outcome of this game, JD. Let's go on to the third here at 357. Now, this moment is pretty crucial. This is the
Mhm.
moment where Dr. Nate had gotten his way over to the Death Star. Like you said, he avoided the unfortunate team wipe that some people experience. And you can see that just because of the Noah's Ark Apocalypse, JD, this board is just filling up and flooding with ocean tiles everywhere.
Yeah.
Then once you look in the Death Star over here, you will notice Tanjiro has built himself up quite a beautiful Death Star opportunity. And at this point, I think they start teaming with the Raptors, which is a good move. This guy just
Mhm.
wiped your team. You're trying to recover. You only got one guy. You're not really a threat. Let me try to hang out with the other guys, team up, maybe try to get in a better spot, which I think, could have worked well if other things later on went differently. But Dr. Nate sits in the Death Star there, and he has his opportunity, and he takes it to bomb the Astro Bears that were sitting there in Noah's Ark. Now, this wasn't the worst thing to happen to the Bears. They lose their mystery machine, they lose Coleman Trebor, and I think they damage greatly Israel Adesanya,
Yeah.
which
Down to 5.
those were their players that were uh, eligible to be damaged because of the mystery machine. They were in the front. But I don't know. What did you think of that play, JD?
Yeah. It was a good play. So we actually wanted Israel to get hit a decent amount because of his ability. Once he goes below 50%, he can choose. And
True.
one of his things is that you can steal those actions, their speed. So that's something we were looking for. So if someone tried to get Noah's Ark, we would just steal it and smack them. But we didn't anticipate was 2 Death Stars coming at us, them teaming up together in there. So when that did happen, it definitely took a hit. But the game plan was still there because we were like, the Death Star probably won't be there for 3 more turns. It'll get wiped away by the water. So it was a hard hit, but at this point we were still in the game.
Yeah, no, you definitely were still in the game there. And so you're right, that damages you. And then how did Israel Adesanya die? I don't remember. You remember how that happened?
I actually don't, because unfortunately I had a family emergency. I had to leave at this point in the game, so I actually don't know how he died.
That is true. That is true. Israel Adesanya met his great end. Oh, because Zelda dealt 15 damage, I think, to... she had a spell where she can just remotely deal damage to anyone she wants. And
That's
so
sick.
she used that
Good
on
play.
Israel Adesanya to finish him off. That was a pretty insane play there.
That's a
But
good
then,
play.
JD, I mean, we get to our fourth big game-changing moment of this game. And it is going to be over here at 4:10. And man, this is just a crazy, brutal move. As you can see, as I've picked up these cans over here, I know what you're thinking. It said can. What does can mean? Well, Duck Hunt has an ability where he can place a can on the ground. And these cans have a certain amount of speed. I think it's 4 every turn that they can use, and they can go. And if they land on a space with an enemy, it blows up and it deals damage to the enemy. I think it's 15 damage per can, but it says specifically that it deals damage to every enemy in its space. So if you stack multiple characters on the same space, multiple characters are going to be damaged from those cans. And all game, he was building up those cans, and we were like, when is they going to be used? When are they going to be used? And in fact, the Bears even tried earlier in the game to Death Star Duck Hunt. This was a huge blunder from the Bears, because the Bears tried Death Starring Duck Hunt, and Duck Hunt was sleeping with the sleeping serum. He was invincible, and they overlooked that and wasted a Death Star trying to kill him. But it was a good idea trying to kill Duck Hunt if he wasn't invincible, obviously, because he had built up those cans, and it comes back to bite them in this moment. As you can see, I think this is 6 cans in total. 6 times 15 is what, 80 damage? No. It's
90.
90. Yes. And yeah, those cans, 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you can see, the Astro Bears were 1, 2, 3, 4, exactly the enough spaces away from the cans to deal it. And they were both in the same space. If the Astro Bears moved 1 speed to the right, just in that middle of the bottom of Noah's Ark, if they moved 1 up, if they moved 2 up, I mean, anywhere other than right there or right there on the other, they survive. Even still, they survive if they don't have them both in the same space. The Astro Bears did both of those things, and unfortunately, that was where King of the Monkeys' rookie game ended. Now, I thought King of the Monkeys played great, obviously. I mean, this is a rookie game.
Yeah.
There's going to be mistakes made. But it is a tragic way to go out. And I really think if King of the Monkeys just didn't overlook that in that moment, I think he's actually in a really good spot, because you were able to divert the second Death Star because of your freeze ray, which was really awesome. And I think you guys played on top well. And I really think King of the Monkeys would have won this game if he just used 1 speed differently. JD, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. If he was able to split the guys up, it would have given him a better chance. It's always a possibility what would happen when the Raptors start to swim towards the arc. But it definitely would have given the Bears another chance. It was definitely a blunder on our side. It was initial blunder thinking Duck Hunt could get hit with the Death Star, and then we foresaw the future, but we're unable to stop it or see it coming, I guess.
It's true. It's unfortunately true. And that was the moment for the Bears. And at this point, I mean, this is a 4v1, 4 Raptors versus 1 Cutie. what is going to happen. And that brings us to our final moment, which truly was a collection of moments. Essentially,
Mhm.
what had happened was Tanjiro was at a state, JD, at the end of the game where he was in his water breathing style. So, because of that, he's gaining 15 health at the start of every turn. And the way this apocalypse kills you is if you end your turn in the ocean, you take 15 damage. So,
Mhm.
based off of that, Tanjiro, if he continues to water breathe, which is kind of funny, this is like how this would work probably in real life too. If he's water breathing, he's not going to drown, but he's not going to die from the ocean. He's not going to die from the
Mhm.
flood. Um, so basically, Dr. Nate asked me, he was like, are we in a spot right now where a stalemate is possible? What even would happen if a stalemate happened? And this was after the whole board was full. And he also has the reality gem. That's also important to keep in mind. And I was like, and I explained to him the way stalemates work, which for those of you who are uninclined, a stalemate has never happened in professional Board Wars history. Never. And we've played a lot of games. So obviously very rare. If it were to happen, and this is what I explained to Dr. Nate, the tiebreaker would go to the player
Uh-huh.
with the most collective health. And obviously, because Tanjiro only had 65 health, with no ability to heal unless he was inland in the Ark, which is where uh, the Raptor's top dog was sitting waiting for him, just, with his sword. Um, there was no way for him to heal, really. So he was not going to get higher than the collective Raptor health. So what he did, as you can see, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yuno, those two cards ended up making it right here into the Ark. And you can actually see, I think Yuno at this moment is actually down here. This is Obi-Wan up here. This is Yuno down here. And Yuno did get lucky and got into the Ark. And if that doesn't
Mhm.
happen, JD, there's a pretty good argument that the cuties take this one. But
Wow.
as you can see here,
That would've been
he rolls a 3 and then a 1. Or that was for the last one. My bad.
uh-huh.
He rolls a 4, 6, 3. He uses his action 6. Absolutely brutal. So that's 3 successes, 1 fail, right? And you're allotted a fail until you use your action.
Yeah.
And Yuno got from right here into the Ark. And if that doesn't happen and those rolls go more Dr. Nate's way, he can use the reality gem to push Yuno back. By Yuno ending his turn in the water, like that happens in the apocalypse, he will get pushed back.
15. Oh my
And and
gosh.
and, and then it's just, can Tanjiro get into the Ark against Obi-Wan? And I think he clearly wins that, seeing as how he has like +3 defense with the 3 armors of Notch, and how he has
Oh,
his sun
definitely.
breathing ability. Like, he definitely wins that matchup. The whole issue was Yuno. So if Yuno doesn't make it there, it goes to nothing. So essentially what Tanjiro does, as he can wait in this water for as long as he wants without being without really like wasting time and being like unsportsmanlike, which he never did, from my opinion. He was always trying to win, trying to give himself the best odds, which I commend him for. A lot of people could stall, be annoying, try to stalemate, which
Mhm.
obviously wouldn't work. He didn't do that. I think he handled it with grace and honor. But essentially what he does is he waits out Duck Hunt and Zelda, who do not get lucky enough to um to survive in the ocean, and they ended up dying from the flood. Fast forward, I think we simulated like 18 different turns, and they were debating how much they could simulate, essentially. And what I mean by that is, once you get to a point where it's just math, um, you're in an apocalypse where people are taking constant damage. It's like, what are the amount of turns needed to do something like this? They
Mhm.
argued, which I think was correct, that Tanjiro, and there were a couple layers to the argument that I'm just going to skip. But basically, what we had come to the conclusion of is Tanjiro can keep waiting, and he basically moved the Ark into the corner of the board with his reality gem tile manipulation. Essentially, what happened was, we were like, okay, so he could continue to keep rolling and not move into the space until he got it on his first try. So what we ruled was that was fair, because every time he's rolling from here to make it here, If he doesn't get on his first try, he can just skip, right? So we gave him that
Mm-hmm.
for free. And then essentially we said, okay, from there, we're going to start your turn and see if you can kill these people. Because if he fails this water roll, he might not be able to escape and they might get an opportunity attack on him. That's essentially what the argument boiled down to. I believe Tanjiro got maybe like a little far. He got attacked, then he attacked, and then with the final attack, I think it was Yuno doing it, Tanjiro was eliminated from the game, and the Ruby Raptors had won again.
Wow.
That's how it goes. That is how it goes. JD, what did you think about this game, and what did you think about how it ended?
Yeah. I think this was a great display from the rookies. I think in the past we've seen rookie games before, and I don't think we've ever seen like a game like run as smoothly or like feel as natural as this one, I would say. Um, it felt like they were working well with their teams because you could see kind of the identity of these players through their team. Like there's always you have your own personality through yourself, how you play. You also have kind of a team culture, and you can see throughout all the teams kind of that shown through that. So it was cool to see that. I think ultimately the Raptors they played the Apocalypse well. They had a big buildup. They were able to get in there. And they play masterful. As you saw, we looked at like the downfalls of these teams. We never saw the Raptors with a downfall. We saw the Cuties. They had that thing where they took a hit, but they were still in it. But I think that was the difference was the Raptors didn't get into that situation where they took a big hit because they never really did take a big hit until the Apocalypse. They lost a few guys because of the water, but that was really about it. So it really just came down to who made the least amount of mistakes, and that was the Raptors.
I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself, JD. And I think there is some honorable thing with Dr. Nate. I think he played so well this game. And I think you
Oh
got to
yeah.
give him credit for even being down, having some rough circumstances at the end, taking some hits due to some political discourse, or maybe some mistakes at the end with bottlenecking himself too quickly, still
Mhm.
holding out till the end of the game, giving himself the best opportunity. And really, there was a lot of odds. There was a lot of outcomes where Dr. Nate did take this one home. Um,
Mhm.
so I guess this was a really fun kind of rendition of what we normally do, JD. I'm actually looking forward in the future to continuing this. I think this is a way better. Shout out Dr. Nate for suggesting this, taking us through the film. Um,
Mhm.
but this is like a lot more fun than just discussing the game, I would say, JD. Uh, so
100%.
I'm excited to set this tradition here with you every week. But I guess to end this segment, another thing I think might be fun tradition wise is we could give our grades to each of these players on how they played.
Mm.
And we have to be honest, okay? And you guys can't get mad at us if we give you a bad grade. We're just being honest, our professional opinion, take it as positive feedback. Okay. Okay. Let's start just spawn 1 to spawn 4, JD, and let's reveal at the same time what grade we had for each person. And just so you know,
Yeah.
we were talking about it. These are going to be very stingy grades. Like an A minus is a really good game. That is a great game. A B is also a good game. A C is less than ideal, and a D and an F are just terrible. So we I don't think we had anybody that low, but I guess we'll see, JD, what you thought. Starting
Yeah.
with Dr. Nate. On the count of 3, we'll say what we gave him, okay?
All right.
3, 2, 1, B
B
minus.
minus.
Yeah!
We
It's
agree.
official, it's true. Yeah, B minus. He made some mistakes. He grouped himself too quickly. He lost guys early, which might or might not have been his fault, right? But he did make substantial mistakes there in the end game with the pacing that lost him the game. He still played well in spite of that, so I think a B minus is fair.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. What did you give Moot Newt?
Countdown.
3, 2, 1. B plus.
B.
B.
I gave him a B flat. I gave him a B flat.
Why?
I think obviously he was able to take not as many mistakes as Dr. Nate. I feel like we weren't able to see like a whole lot from Newt Loot just because like he played the pockets very well. He was good in a good situation. I think for me to put it above like B plus A range, I need a little bit of like I don't know, facing a little bit more adversity and getting out of that. Like if Dr. Nate he took the hit and he still wins the game, figuring out from the apocalypse, I think like I would that in my mind that would have been probably like a B plus A minus.
That's fair, JD. I can see that reasoning. I think I gave it to him just because he didn't make, I don't think, any mistakes.
It is true.
Like,
he played a very flawless
it
game.
was very solid. And like you're saying, we didn't see some of that flair that could really push it into the A range, but I thought it was very solid. So for me it was a B plus, but I could see that reasoning. I don't entirely disagree with your conclusion there. I think the question is, where do you have in your biased opinion the King of the Monkeys? 3, 2, 1. B.
C plus.
Really?
C plus.
That is low. Wow.
I don't think it's that low. I think that's pretty.
For the King of the Monkeys, I think it is.
It's pretty low for King Monkeys. I think the end game, and I think we have to be tough here if we're doing this for all the games. I think we're gonna be playing a lot of games here. So I think he played off really well, very offensive start. I think the end, the apocalypse, which I think is the most important for a game, if you can actually pull away with the win, there was quite a few mistakes that were made at the end, just leaving yourself vulnerable there, and then unable to just take because really only got a turn or two into the apocalypse for the King of the Monkeys, and he didn't make it that far. The initial plan worked and was unable to keep that going. So I think it was a C plus. You said a B. I can understand that. I think it was a little bit under because I gave what Dr. Nate A. You gave yeah.
We both gave him B minus. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think King of the Monkeys had more positive plays and equal negative plays. I think both of their games fall into the same category of making mistakes in the end game. Dr. Nate put himself in the arc too quickly. King of the Monkeys didn't account for speed with the cans. And I think those two mistakes really derailed both of their games. I think the difference is King of the Monkeys really had a much more solid opening game, taking offensive opportunities. And I think the fact of the matter is King of the Monkeys set himself up to the point where if he just didn't make that mistake at the end of the game, he would have won. I really think that. I really think he had the best chance of winning if he just didn't make that mistake. And I think because of that, getting him in that position. But I hear what you're saying, but I gave him a B. I could go B minus.
I think I'm also, obviously, it's the Bears, my team. You got to have some. You got to look at the bad. He's got to improve this stuff. So I think maybe a little tough. I can see that also though. He did have
He had a great game. He played really well, which really shocked a lot of us due to lack of experience. What did you give DNA Nick, JD? 3, 2, 1. C minus.
C minus.
It is so. It is so. I mean, DNA Nick, he played a fine opening. He optimized things decently well. He just, that is just a big blunder, leaving yourself open to that Bird Island play. He didn't politicize the way that I thought the Sallies are accustomed to and that he could have. It just wasn't the most solid game out of him. Out of a player that I think we're going to see have some really solid games in the future. His debut wasn't quite up to par with what he's capable of. So I'm interested to see how things continue with him. And all in all, JD, I, like you were saying, I thought this was a great rookie game. I thought it was awesome to see the reigning Legacy Cup contenders go back at it with their next generation of rookies. And anything you want to say before we move on to our next segment?
No, I mean, other than, Dr. Nate, Moonuk, and Monksy and Nick, if you're watching, you guys played great.
Yeah.
I think we're being tough on these rankings because these are for the entire league here. But like, if it was like a rookie rankings, I think almost all of those would have been A's.
Yeah.
That was an impressive game by you guys.
Absolutely.
All right, Gus, our next segment for the podcast. I don't know if you saw in the Discord, I sent a little Google form into there of hot takes. I wanted to see the leagues, the players, their hot takes they had. I don't know if you submitted any, but I got quite a few here, just listed here, and I was thinking we kind of just read through them. Some of them are goofy, some of them are honestly difficult, whether they're true or not. And I think we can just discuss them and maybe laugh about some of them as we go through.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm excited to see what you guys said were your hot takes. And, sometimes I get flamed for my hot takes. I know Caleb Ward went up here and he spoke a lot of hot takes. He got kind of flamed for his.
Did.
Now it's your guys' turn. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. If you guys think you're so much better, let's see what you got.
All right, here we go. Number 1, Season 4 rookies is the most elite draft class in terms of nicknames, and it's not particularly close.
Season 4 rookies.
Season 4 rookies, in terms of nicknames. See, I feel like this one's a little difficult. They have 88 names, so they have a lot. They have a lot of
much larger sample size.
Sample size.
Are we saying pound for pound or in total?
It is saying their claim was that it's the most elite draft class in terms of nicknames. It's not even close. There's not even a debate about it.
That is interesting. Okay, do we say whether we agree or disagree?
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2,
1. I agree.
Really? I disagree.
Agree.
I don't agree.
I think the names, there's so many of them, and I think when a player is good, I think it gives more credibility to the name, which I think there's a lot of names right now in the league that are like, that name's cool. But it's also because they're good at the game. These rookies, we haven't seen them yet. I think once we see them in games and we're talking about their names, I think they're going to be pretty cool.
I don't know. I think Season 3 has some serious contenders, specifically off the top of my head, like Pascallywags, Meow Meow, Birdger Kimchi and Sigazale, Wheeze Queeze, Swamp Dave. I don't know. And those are just kind of the ones I think about immediately. I also think Season 1 is legitimately underrated. I mean, Slushy is just so iconic. Dr. Luke is so iconic. Season 4, it's just like
that's
dude,
because we haven't seen them play yet, though.
We literally on the draft sheet we had a guy named Tacos and a guy named Dante Tacos. We had 2 guys named Taco. Like, I don't think that Moggs. Like, I don't know. I could see there are some ones in that I really like from Season 4.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking I'm just name off one. I mean, King of the Monkeys in Season 4. Like, I don't even know how
that is true. That is legitimately true. Yeah, it is hard to argue with King of the Monkeys. I don't know, but yeah, I think that's too early to say. I would disagree.
That's fair. I think it won't. I think they'll pull ahead by the end of the season.
That's possible.
Maybe not right now.
Yeah, maybe it's just like I don't know yet.
Exactly. We haven't seen them. I think that's the reason.
True.
All right.
True.
Number 2. The Ruby Raptors do nothing but wait around and then win by chance.
The Ruby Raptors do nothing but wait around.
Unfortunately, I made these anonymous. I kind of wish I didn't make these anonymous so we could like talk about the people, but these are all anonymous, by the way, so we're just reading them. First time I'm reading these, but I think we can vote on this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Absolutely not.
No.
First of all, I think this is ridiculous for a few reasons. First of all, I've said it on here before. I'll say it again. Nobody, like 3, maybe 4 people in the history of the game have actually won by chance. I genuinely believe that. I will genuinely stand on business. I believe that with every fiber of my being. I think all the good players who take accountability for how they play would also
Mhm.
agree. I think it's actually just the bums who are mad that they stink at the game that are like, no, it's all chance, bro. It's not. It's not. You're just bad.
Yeah. No,
Just to be honest with you. To be
I
honest with you.
completely agree. They have a passive play style, but it's not by chance. It's a calculated.
Second of all, if this were true and they were just winning by chance, dude, on average, if you're gonna win and you're winning by chance, you'd think the average is 25%. And if that is the case, how is it possible? So let's go back to it's possible to win by chance. If that were the case, we wouldn't see guys like Dr. Luke be 8-6. That is just statistically extremely improbable. There's very
Mhm.
clearly skill involved in what is going on. Second of all, the Raptors, we were just saying, are like 8-7 in their last 15 games. They have a
Yeah.
higher than 50% chance going into a game of winning. You don't just do that if we just rolled a D4 every single game, 25% chance to get a 1, 2, 3, and 4, they would have they would be in 15 games, like 4 wins, something like that?
Yeah, it'd be around there.
They have double that. So I think that's preposterous, and I think clearly whoever said that is troll.
Yeah, I would hope so. Or they got beef with the Raptors.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's true. It's true. Either way. You actually
Yeah.
did skip over one that I think is endearing.
Oh yeah, I mean we can. Yeah, I'm kind of jumping around because there's so many, but you can pick the ones out if
That's
you see one that
valid.
you want to talk about.
Magneto is the best legendary, and it's not close. Like, are we talking strongest legendary? I don't agree.
I mean, I love Magneto. Magneto is like one of my favorite cards, but I wouldn't say it's the best legendary. And it's not even close.
I like Magneto. He's actually like not only just as a card, but he's one of my favorite characters.
Mm,
He does not have what a lot of other legendaries bring to the table. He does bring something very unique with the ability to manipulate people on the board, tiles, items, stuff like that. But there are also a lot of lower down cards that maybe not to the same effect, but can also achieve high tile manipulation like Syndrome.
yeah,
Um, there isn't a card in the game. Let's say Doctor Doom. I think Doctor Doom mogs Magneto. I really do. He has the ability to spawn all those bots, or you can pick
yeah.
sorcery.
The
15 to the
tiles.
fourth, your entire tile, the whole game. And if you get kills, you can permanently steal. That is insane. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. There's a lot of them. Ichigo is really strong. I'm sure there's more. Doctor Strange is so strong. Doctor
Yeah,
Strange can immediately open a portal to anywhere. That I'm not gonna lie, that mogs Magneto.
I think it does because you don't even have to move them because you can just open a portal to that person or move them to a different
Right.
tile connecting them.
It's not
Yeah,
as apocalypse friendly, but it's the blitz potential is unmatched. And he can do
yeah.
that's one of 15 things he can do.
Hmm. No, I think Magneto is a very good legendary. I don't think he's the best, and it's definitely not the best by a lot.
Yeah. I valid.
I have to
Valid.
disagree
What's
with
the
that
next
one.
one you want to do? We can take turns picking them.
Um, yeah. Let's see. Next one I want to pick. It's also the first time I'm really looking at these fully. Oh, Indiana Jones is a top 10 all-time player.
Okay.
I would have to think. I know our previous rankings we did not.
Didn't
I'm
we
trying
have
to
him like
think.
14?
Yeah, I think he's. Hang on, I'm pulling up. I want to see who they're basically saying. Let's make sure we're looking at this
Yeah,
correctly here.
absolutely. We've got to give it a chance here.
Yeah.
We had him 13.
Um. Okay, so he's 13, and he's behind. No, he's behind John. He's not in front of Johnny.
Yeah, I think that's really tough. I think that's really tough to say without a playoff win. He does have a 100% all-star rate. He does
I could
have
see him
2
saying he's at
wins.
the 12.
I love Ian. I love Ian a lot. I think he's one of the most overrated players or underrated, sorry, players in the league for sure. I love him as a player and as a guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he's top 10.
No, there's definitely an
All
argument.
time.
Definitely complete argument for him above Piano Man. I don't think there's really an argument for him above Goober or Johnny because those are the two that are.
No,
Those would be the two, unless
as
they have a
much
different
as
top
I would
10.
like that to be the case, being my successor as the Dragons captain, um, no, no, it's not. Man, lot of Ruby Raptors.
I know.
Uh, the Ruby Raptors would be washed without Straw, and the Ruby Raptors are passive to a virtue. I think those are actually the only two left that are on this list.
About Raptors.
Yeah, which I guess they just won, right? Without Straw, they would be washed.
No, there's another one. Not about the Raptors, but about a Raptors player.
About Straw down there. But
Yeah,
that's positive. That's positive.
that's true.
This is the last like negative Raptor one. I don't know. I disagree. I think Straw does so much. I do
Yeah.
think Straw is like that, but I think that's discrediting Caden and his influence. I think that's discrediting Enigma and his just Giga Chadness. I think that's discrediting Timothy Wright and his incredible zeal and improvement. I think the reason the Raptors are so good is they're a team. And I think
Yeah.
to single that out on a single guy, I think that's just ignorant, to be honest with you. I think that's why they're so strong is they do what the Cuties did, but so many of them, like they have more than two really experienced, like they've got Luke and Caleb over there. The
Mhm.
Raptors have like four of them, and they're always at games, and they're always, and I think it's the power of friendship that brings them together. As far as being passive to a virtue, I would say the Raptors are probably too passive in general. I don't think it's. I think part of the reason they're so passive is because you let them be.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. You want them to actually do something, force their hand into doing something. If you let somebody sit back and win the game, I'm sorry, that's on you. Like, it shouldn't be that way. Actually contest what they're doing, and maybe they won't. And I think the Raptors would tell you the same thing. You think that we're over here sitting back, then do something about it.
Yeah. And I think also with the Raptors is we see a couple times teams will do something and the Raptors are also ready. It's not like they're just sitting back and doing nothing. They have a thing when you hit them, they're gonna swing back at you because they already had a plan going into it.
Absolutely.
Because it's not luck, it is complete skill.
Absolutely. One of them is signed by Baby Bucky. You see
Where is that one?
It's about Slushy.
Yes. Oh. I think this might be the only signed one.
Baby Bucky is putting his name on it and he's saying Slushy is overrated. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I mean, no, he's not. Slushy's not overrated. It's funny though. And you know what? Hey, maybe we'll see Slushy versus Baby Bucky again in the next grudge match.
Oh my gosh. I would love to see that.
There was a take about the grudge match too. After the grudge match, hot take by one of you, Baby Bucky should be considered a top 10 player entering this season. Not all time, but how we see them right now.
Top 10. No,
I
not
think that's
top 10.
absurd. I'm not going to lie.
Not top 10.
Not top 10 for sure. As we see them right now, I understand making that distinction. But, I mean, you would then have to think he's better than Luke and Caleb, JD Slushy, Gideon, Goober, I mean, Piano Man,
Johnny Python.
Johnny Python. I mean, do you even think he's the best player on his team right now?
No. I think
He has an argument,
no.
though.
I think he is.
I think he's probably the third best player.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think he's a great player, and he's definitely improved up. I don't think he's scratched the top 10 active players at the moment yet. I think those players are, and honestly, still probably in the because they were separated from Legacy. Probably those top 10 in Legacy are all still up there.
Yeah. And this is funny. This is another one that is kind of like formatted the same way, and it leads me to believe that a cutie said both the baby Bucky take and this one. Dr. Nate was unlucky relative to his opponents in game one. Worst dice rolls. Apocalypse was bad for his early game strategy. Got betrayed in a way we don't see happen often. If it weren't for the luck deficit, he wins. Obviously, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
I obviously disagree that if it weren't for the luck deficit, he wins. I would agree that he got unlucky in the end with I would agree that the Apocalypse was bad for his early game strategy being Broland, considering he invested so much into that. I would agree he got betrayed in a way we don't see happen often. I would disagree when it comes to the fact that he didn't get lucky in other ways. I actually do think. Okay, I'll say this. I think you could view Broland as unlucky because of the Apocalypse. I think you could view it as lucky because of the Apocalypse, giving it as, I mean, that strategy I mentioned earlier in this podcast of getting to move in, attack, move out, puppy guarding the Apocalypse like that. I think that promotes actually a lot of positive strategy. I think having Ben 10 in an Apocalypse that generally takes longer to kill you is usually really strong. I think having Tanjiro in an Apocalypse that can't kill you because of the 15 damage thing is really lucky. I think getting some of the items that he got at the end, near the end of the game, without actually having to kill people for it, I think he got lucky because DNA Nick was hostile towards him, and unlucky he got betrayed, but lucky because King of the Monkeys really took him out for him. Granted, the King of the Monkeys would go on to do. I just think to say, I just disagree. What do you think, JD?
Yeah, I think I'd have to disagree. I think there was some at the very end. There was some unlucky rolls at the end of the game. I don't know if that counts towards like the entire game, like the entire game of rolling dice. I don't know if the entire game relatively he was performing worse. Maybe in that situation, and that probably is the worst time for me a bad dice roll. But I think ultimately it really came down to the Apocalypse and then him getting bombed by King of the Monkeys took away a lot of his, and that wasn't really that wasn't the luck or anything. That was just pure bombs there. So I think that was ultimately what kind of took out a lot of his strategy going to the Apocalypse.
Mm. Yeah. No, absolutely. Do you want to read that last one in that first message you sent me? That one's interesting.
The oh, Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is so overpowered that having your spawn bumps your winning odds up by at least 10%.
Is that having it in your spawn as in like your central tiles, or is it having like in a shared corner? Because I don't think it's like hardly ever in your spawn.
No, it's usually in the corner. Um, I don't know if it. I don't. I think I disagree. I don't know about 10%. It
It's
might raise
good.
your odds a bit. I don't know. 10%. 10%. That's a lot of odds. I feel like that's a lot of percent.
Yeah.
Um, it is busted considering the fact that now I don't have a 15 attack max anymore. It does make that even
True.
crazier.
True. I don't know though. I think I've actually seen Dragon Quest just as often put you in a fight with a guy in order to get control over it, or stack up so much health that you're or stats that you're just immediately the biggest target on the board and get wiped.
Hmm.
Like I've seen it just as often do that as I think I've seen it result in a win. So I don't know. I don't know if I agree by like the 10%, but I think it's really good. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree. Let's see. Are you seeing one right now?
El Nino is going to be the next JD. Who said that?
Hey, probably a Jed or you know what? If he is, I would love to see
There's
it.
no way. There's no chance.
I mean, we're basically on the same path at the moment.
Basically on the same path. How?
I mean, I lost my first 4 games. He lost his first 2 or 3.
Yeah, but he was a bottom 2 player.
I was like a
He was
bottom 5.
you had him as you argued for like a substantial amount of time earlier that he was the worst player of all time.
Hey, but you can only go up from there. I was like a
That's
bottom. I
true.
think I was bottom 5 player. I might have. It was
Yeah.
like it was bottom. I think it was like 5th or 4th. I think.
El
So I mean,
Nino's a
like
great guy. I just no way. No way.
if you put in the work, I'm sure you doubted my skills back in season 1. And I came back strong the next
No,
season.
I
So
actually was praising you. I was like,
that
I
is
remember
true.
I said like, no, JD's gonna be comeback player of the year or MIP. I also said that about Ryan Joggers, and then he did great season two.
That's true.
Kind of choke season three.
Yeah, that's a hard thing. That's a Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see it. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but um, let's see
Caleb
this.
Ward?
What were you gonna say?
Caleb Ward?
Oh, I see. Read it out.
Caleb Ward is an overrated player. What
Mm,
is the evidence for that? I don't think there's
dang,
any. I don't think there's absolutely any at all.
dang. Yeah, I wish there was a little overrated in what sense.
What's the
Um,
argument? Yeah, I'd be interested to hear. Maybe you got to hop on the
I don't
pod
know.
and tell
You
us.
just Yeah. If that's you, if you want to claim it as yourself, claim it, and you're in the pod. But I don't know. I mean, he just had like the best offensively statistical seasons.
Yeah, I just don't know how that
Um,
could be. He just won his first playoff game. Like, if he was
if anything,
overrated before, he's not now.
yeah. If that stuff didn't
He was
happen,
just
he
a
was probably
99.
overrated. Yeah, it's kind of hard to
Uh,
argue against that.
All right, below
Um.
that is the one that was that you mentioned earlier, the positive
Oh
thing
yeah,
about Straw.
Straw is better than Goober all time. I can't say. I
Yeah,
don't think I can say
I
that.
think that's a little nuts. I mean I'm here for Straw positives, but nah. Goober just had like a 3-win season.
Yeah, he was just defensive player of the year. Like
Yeah,
I don't.
Straw
I
hasn't
think
had
he
that
just.
season.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Not yet.
Right under that, the Smoky Salamanders will have the worst record. What do you think of that, Gus?
Sorry, I was laughing because I was reading the one under that, which we
Yeah.
can't say on the pod, but
I wonder who
that's
sent that
funny.
one.
But about Salamanders, they will have the worst record. I don't buy into it. I think. I mean, I suppose I think it's possible. I think we are about to see what the effects of losing a captain of that caliber, like how that affects the team.
Hmm.
I think it really depends on how Slushy is as a captain. Is he going to be able to lead his guys to the promised land? I think the fact of the matter is, I think it's too early to say something like that. I think, yeah,
I
they didn't have the
agree.
best debut, but this is a team where, I mean, Slushy can get a win against anybody. We've seen
Hmm.
that. Goober can stack up regular season wins like it's nothing. And that combination of those two players alone could, I mean, really make them not, at least not the bottom in the league, right?
Hmm.
And then I think farther from that, I think actually we are going to see a lot of the rookies and other players that the Sallies have perform better than I think we're expecting. I think just because DNA Nick had like kind of a lackluster debut, it kind of looks like right now that like maybe their other players other than Goober and Slushy aren't going to pan out. But I think I think that's too early. I think the fact of the matter is Slushy has a lot of chemistry with most of those guys, and
Yeah.
that could manifest in some crazy ways. Um, I think this is a team who is closer in my mind to making the cup than they are being the lowest rated team. In my mind, I think it's more likely they make the cup than be the lowest rated team. But where they will actually fall, I think, is somewhere in the middle. I don't think they're going to be either.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're gonna be the worst team. They still they still have Slushy and they still have Goober and they still have all those they still have all those guys. But I don't yeah, not the worst record.
I
I don't think I had them making the playoffs.
oh,
Um
I have them in the wild card, but I don't have them making the cup.
yeah, I
But
think
I could see Slushy pulling off an insane wild card win. Like I
oh yeah,
could see that.
that's the thing though. If you're in the wild card and Slushy's split, then yeah, then you have a chance. So I don't think no, I don't agree with that one.
But it is interesting. The Los Cuties hat.
The lowest cutie sat is actually peak, and everyone just hates on it because they're jealous. I'm sorry, Caleb, but that is not peak.
The
The
Los
hate.
Cuties hat.
I don't know about hate.
We
I
need
don't know
an
if
item.
hate's a strong word, but
The chopped Los Cuties hat. That we need that as an item. I will say, Caleb, it did look good on you during the draft. I will say.
yeah, it looked good with
Paired
the
with
jersey.
the
The
jersey?
jersey, I will say the jersey's tough.
Jersey is really tough.
The hat is not peak, but the jersey's tough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you were to put them in a game right now, the top 2 players wouldn't be in the top 5. What
So
is- what-
Luke and Slushy?
what does that mean?
I think they're saying the top two legacy wise wouldn't be in the top 5
Today?
like current today.
I don't know.
I think that's
I think we don't know that.
yeah.
I disagree. I disagree. I think that's probably a younger player who thinks that the younger players are just so much better.
Yeah, I mean, I think the obvious one is Luke. I don't think you can say he's not in the top 5. So I'm assuming they're arguing Slushy's not in the top 5. But I still don't
I just
I,
don't see it.
I don't see it.
But I will say, I think it's funny that Board Wars is getting to the point where it's gone on long enough that people are like, "Oh yeah, Dr. Luke beat plumbers back in the day." Like,
I know
that's starting to happen. That's crazy.
these takes. I feel like they're like it's like feels like basketball. It's like nah, Wilt Chamberlain, nah, all those stats don't matter. Like that's that's what I'm getting the feeling here. After only 4 years, we're getting here. So
Insane.
I mean, I love it, but I think I'd have to disagree. We need some young. We need a season 3, season 4 on this pod to. Also, I wish I put the names down so we could. If any of these takes were yours and we disagreed with them, put it in the game chat. We want to hear
Yeah,
it.
what's
I'd
your
love to hear the
argument?
argument against it because obviously I think a lot of them we've disagreed with, and I'd love to hear the argument for why maybe we're wrong.
Yeah. No, for sure. I completely agree. One of them is there are too many good items in the item deck without enough 1 to 2 value items.
That sounds like a Python
Yeah, that is just not true.
Python take.
Here, I
don't
will
know the
just
math.
show you some math. There is 18 value 1 items in the deck. Okay. Okay, JD.
Okay, 18.
There are 12 value 5s.
Okay.
There are how many
Already
value
more.
4s? 23 value 4s. There are 20 value 2s. So I don't know. If you look at the top and bottom ends of the spectrum, they're the same. And we do that intentionally. So you've been disproven using facts and logic.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind having but I like the value 4 and 5 items, I don't like pulling like a stupid enchantment book.
Yeah, but it's not like they're overpopulated though, which would be an issue. I would have an issue with that from a balancing perspective. But
Yeah. Was that how the balancing was like season 1? It was like
I don't know
top
when
of the
that
bottom.
developed and we were like, we need to pay attention to that. I think it's ever since item values became a thing because that didn't used to be a
okay.
thing.
That's right. It wasn't a thing. You're right.
Yeah. But ever since it was, we were like, all right, we should balance these. I don't know. Let's pick 2 more. I'll pick one and you pick one. How about that?
Okay.
There's a lot of them. Thank you guys for suggesting. I can tell one of these was Dr. Luke.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do the last one.
Oh, I was looking at that one. Okay. I'll.
I'll text.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at. Uh.
Or you can do that one. I'll do a different
Okay.
one.
Thank you.
I'll do Dr. Luke's, which is funny. The number 58 actually has plenty of aura in the terrifying old school Smash Mouth football way. Consider Jack Lambert and Derek Thomas. Von Miller also had plenty of aura winning the Super Bowl MVP wearing number 50. This is true. I think this is because on the pod we said that Dr. Luke's number 58 just wasn't, didn't have enough aura. I think he's here to say, listen, there's plenty of aura. You know what, Luke? I will agree with you purely from the standpoint, like you know what? I don't really care about Jack Lambert. I'm not gonna lie. I don't give a rip about Jack Lambert. I don't really care about Derek Thomas. I mean, RIP to the GOAT, right? Von Miller's, like he was goated. He did have a couple really insane years, but he's been washed for so long. Like his aura is so low. I'll give it. I'll agree that it has plenty of aura, purely from the perspective that it is your number, and the doc has aura.
I think the number itself, by itself, is not aura. I think when that number is on a player's goods, such as Von Miller or Dr. Luke, I think that's what gives it aura, which I think, in my mind, shows that the number itself is not aura.
Fact.
And then the last take here is knowing how to navigate a Board Wars game diplomatically. Wow, that was bad. Diplomatically is much more important to winning than understanding what everything on the board does in order to make big plays.
This is interesting.
It's very close.
Yeah, I think those are just 2 halves to the game, truthfully. I think to say diplomacy is more important, specifically they said more important than understanding what everything does. Or are they saying what, like, making big plays isn't as important as diplomacy? I would argue you need both. I think the fact of the matter is, and I don't know if this is always the case, but it should be. It should be the case. Sometimes people don't play well. But the way diplomacy is supposed to work is you are supposed to have maybe like a smoking gun, like a big play to use in diplomatic talks. There are certain people like if you don't have presence on the board and you don't have the ability to make big waves, in my mind you can't be diplomatic. Or at least if you try, it shouldn't work. Sometimes it does, because sometimes people can play the game bad. But if you're a captain out there or you're a player, listen, do not just be friends with somebody if there's no benefit to you. The way you actually leverage good diplomacy is meant to be leveraging it with actual real power and threats. If you don't have any power, you can't go around really, or you shouldn't be able to really go around leveraging that, because you have no leverage anywhere. You can just get destroyed. The way that you should play the game, I think the best way that I've seen people play the game is having power, having presence on the board, being a threat, having the goods, but leveraging those goods diplomatically to get more out of them than would meet the eye. It's not just a Death Star. It's, I'm not going to Death Star you. This is now the backbone of an alliance. I'm expecting you to do something for me. You have leveraged your Death Star from just damage into an alliance that can just result in more help for you.
Mm-hmm.
But without having that Death Star, and I think you could big plays, I think you could inflate that to just big plays in general. Without having that, you have nothing to leverage. And I think the people who think the people who pit these two ideas against each other are often what results in the thing that we've said we don't like, JD, which is people doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? People doing nothing and just kind of skirting by. So if you're watching, you shouldn't let that happen. But also, I would advise the person who wrote that to not make false ultimatums, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think you put that well. I think how you said it was like to be good diplomatically, you have to have some and a decent amount of knowledge on the board to get that leverage. I think without that, I think you need to win games. I think you need to have diplomacy to be able to get the position to win. But before that even happens, I do think you still need a pretty good understanding of how the game works to put yourself in that position. I think just the diplomacy is like the extra step where you see the difference between players who are really good at the game, but they always have decent amount of stats, but get second or third every time, versus a player who can win games and win it in different ways.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree, JD. And thank you all for submitting your hot takes. I mean, they were fun to read. They were interesting. I'd love to do more segments like this in the future. Shout out JD for coming up with this idea, and we'll see you in the next segment.
All right, Gus, our last segment, like we have been doing the last season. Unfortunately, we couldn't be doing this segment during the summer because there was no games. But now, our coming up game this Saturday, we got a good one from the Bears playing again. We have Max Power from the Mama Llamas, new captain Cal Bruss from the Wealthy Waffles, new captain Mr. Java, and of course from the Los Cuties, which we've said is the greatest non-winless player, Akio Dub. What a lineup.
Wow, what a game. So Calbrus, the new captain of the Mama Llamas, is stepping up. Fun fact, he's playing on his birthday.
Wow.
That's pretty huge.
That could be like a bonus there.
Huge. Yeah, I mean, you guys got to give him brownie points politically, man. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Maybe he's like choose his side. Maybe that's like you got to give him something
Yeah.
for that.
Absolutely, you do. That is an interesting factor. I don't know. So Akio Dub is playing his game. He is getting a rematch against Mr. Java, which is his cousin, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And Max Power is playing for you. That is a very interesting person to play this game as well. JD, I mean, we kind of had a system last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we had like three main factors that were going to get the person the win, right? And it didn't end up working because didn't you guess?
I guess Dr. Nate. But she was close. He was close. He was closer. I was closer than you. So far, I feel like I'm winning on takes.
Listen, hey, if you don't win, it doesn't count. Okay, listen. We're both losers together. We are keeping track though of our record.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can predict it right this time. But I think the factors we mentioned were chemistry, overarching politics, like going into the game.
Yeah.
And skill.
Yeah.
Or experience. So how would you rank those people in this matchup in terms of skill?
In skill. I think is skill pulling in diplomacy, or is it like your overall? This one's difficult just because with.
I think skill is more X's and O's and who has won in the past.
Okay. So then considering that,
Power.
Yeah, I think Max has to be first. Then
I think at this state right now, this might be crazy. Number 2, I think, is Akio Dub.
Yeah, I think at this point, Kyle is the one of the other three that's won a game, but I think AccuDub recently has performed. Like, we're going off recency. Max Power obviously won 2. The other 3 didn't win at all, and I think AccuDub did play the best. I don't disagree with that.
So I think it would be fair to say, just because of recency and how they performed last year, Accio, Mr. Java, Calbras.
Yeah.
Then in terms of politics, who do you think has the edge, JD?
I think Max does. I think Max is one. I think Java.
I would argue Calbras.
Really?
It's his birthday. He's the birthday boy.
That is true.
Fun
outside.
fact.
Oh, because this is outside.
Fun
Yeah.
fact. Kyle told me to say this actually. He wanted me to point out that in the 8th month, I think it's the 22nd day, right?
Yeah.
He is leaving the 22nd year of his life.
Whoa.
And 2 + 2 is 4, which is Calbras's number.
Whoa.
Right? And 4 × 2 is 8.
8.
Which is the month that it is. And get this, it is Calbras's 8th game of his career, with a chance to get his 2nd win.
You know what? I think because of this, it must be one. No, but I guess if we're really thinking about it, it's still being the season. None of these teams have wins, so it's kind of a blank slate. It's 2 teams from each division, so it's pretty even there. It's really the only outside factor. Llamas didn't have a great season last year, so they're not be looking at a huge target.
True.
So
true. I would say Calbras for those reasons. And then I would say, I don't know. I would say Mr. Java. I don't think people have any beef against the Waffles yet. And then I would say probably after that, Accio and then Max.
that makes sense. I was thinking of just diplomacy wise, but outside that, I think I agree. Just because I think Max coming to it is the best player on paper.
Which is funny because those are completely swapped from our skills.
Yeah.
So everyone's at an even 5, meaning the winner will come down to chemistry with their team. Who do you think has the best chemistry with their squad?
I think it's Max Power. I might be biased, but I think it's Max Power.
I think it is too. I think it's Max, then Calbras, then Accio, and then because he has a new team, Java.
I think so. Which means that's our
order.
That's the order then.
That's what the science says.
The science has not been right yet.
The science has not been right yet. JD, I'm guessing you're taking Max in this one.
I am. I'm taking Max. I mean, he had a great last season. These are all great players. It's gonna be a really close game, but I think he has the best odds to win it.
That's fair. I think because he's the birthday boy. Because of all the vast mathematical reasons, I can see that the math of the universe is pointing me in a direction, and that direction is Calbras, new captain of the Mama Llamas. By the way, the 2nd captain of the Mama Llamas, getting his 2nd win in his 8th game in the 8th month on the 22nd day, leaving his 22nd year. Calbras, who is also my 2nd best friend. No, I'm just kidding. I think he's taking it home, baby. Come on.
That was hype.
I'm excited.
No, this is gonna be a good matchup. Bunch of vets in this game. Bunch of people who know how to play the game. I'm hoping it's just as good as game 1.
And honestly, whoever wins, I love it. I love it. AccioDub, seeing AccioDub get a win would be so liberating to the AccioDub fans out there in the world. Mr. Java, seeing him get a win, oh my gosh.
That would, the Discord would be.
Yes, they would be hype. They would be hype. The fans of Mr. Java would be hype. Seeing Calbras get a win would be sick. Seeing Max Power get another win would be historical. That would be nuts.
That would solidify him.
it's just an awesome game. It's going to be an awesome week. Thank you guys for tuning in this week to your weekly episode of the official Board Wars podcast. JD, what do you got to say to the people before we head out?
The thing you got to say is, this season it's building up fast. We saw the Raptors take one win already. Are we going to see them pull away? I don't know. We got game 2 though. Great matchup. Gonna be a great one. Hope I see you guys in the Discord.
You heard it here. We'll see you next week.